Hello, fellow hobby enthusiasts. Welcome to Hobby Time in the Murder Basement. My name is Heath. This is my murder basement. This is where I spend most of my free time assembling little pieces of plastic and painting them. Over the past several years, this hobby has really started to take over my life. It has grown and changed and morphed like some sort of Tetsuo Shima amoeba monster. And yet I've somehow managed not to totally get bogged down by my ungodly backlog, which I think, if we're all being honest, any hobbyist who's been doing this for a while has a pretty large pile of gray plastic or unbuilt plastic or resin that sometimes we don't like to talk about. And I'm sure you're probably thinking, who is this guy? What can I learn from him? Who does he think he is? And for that, I have one simple answer. I am your hobby friend who took the dive into the deep end and has lived to tell the tale. When I first started off in this hobby, I hadn't painted ever. I actually am a very poor two-dimensional artist. I'm a musician. I have always been more inclined to make noise instead of visual art. And I never thought that painting was something that was for me. And then I saw Gorm from Kingdom Death and I was hooked. I had to paint it. I had to have this model in my house. I dove headfirst into one of the most expensive board games on the market, never building a model before, and surely not painting one. I had an amazing time. And from there, I started painting whenever I had free time, to the point where I think I probably had an unhealthy obsession with putting paint on plastic. After painting for a couple years, I entered into my first painting competition. While I didn't get first place, I did get best in category for large monsters at Warfare Weekend here in St. Louis. And it was a real achievement for me because I had finally executed on all these amazing videos online, and just like the hundreds and hundreds of hours, I mean probably thousands of hours that I put into learning this hobby. And over that time, I've learned some pretty cool tricks that I would love to share with you guys to maybe help your hobby growth. But really, most importantly, what I really want is I want to help you all feel happy with where you're at in your own hobby development. I think that we get a little too cruel to ourselves, comparing our models to what we see on Instagram, where it looks like magic is happening on someone else's page, and you look at yours and it's just not the same. And I can now say, after seeing high-end competitive models, that they aren't any different than yours. They just have had more time in it, and that's all right. This is all part of the process, and I want you to be happy with what you've done and positive feeling about your growth. And if you don't want to paint for competition, that's great. If you just want to get some models on the table to play a game, I am super supportive of that. And you know what? I'm even the rare gamer that supports you playing with gray models. I actually don't care. This is your hobby. You make the rules. There is no fun police in my world. If you are having fun, I'm thrilled for you. With all of that out in the open, I'm sure there is one question that you are all asking yourselves. Why is it called the Murder Basement? While I can say for 100% fact that nobody has been murdered in here while we have owned the house, when we first looked at this house, it had a couple major glaring issues. One, has a portal to hell in the attic. It had two really, really soiled mattresses in the attic that had just been there for years. And three, the ad said that it had 3 bathrooms, but the house clearly only had 2 bathrooms. When you walk down the creaky stairwell into the basement, this stone foundation basement that we find ourselves in today, there was a toilet attached to a floor drain in the dark corner with a really horrible makeshift stall around it. It was just dirty and disgusting. It looked like someone had like a Quasimodo GIMP thing hid down here, you know, the child that was horribly deformed that they didn't want their church knowing about, or something really horrible like that. And you just like, it gave you the heebie-jeebies being in this room. It was awful. But after my wife and I looked at each other and realized that this was the least murdery basement that we saw in all of the houses that we looked at, we made an offer on the house with the stipulation that they get rid of the horrible bathroom in the basement and remove the soiled mattresses from the attic. Couldn't do anything about the portal to hell. C'est la vie. But yet, now we have been here for a bunch of years now. We really love the place. We've really turned it into our own, and I'm very happy with what we've turned this house into. I love the basement. It is something that I may not be an artist, but I hobby like an artist. I get paint everywhere. I get super glue everywhere. I get sawdust everywhere. I get sprue bits all over the place. I like to be completely unencumbered when building and painting. I use this place to be my inspiration room, and so I couldn't hobby upstairs. I would be a horrible husband if I did this up in the dining room. So I have a lot of really fun ideas for this channel. I have an immense backlog of really cool models that definitely need to be worked through. I have a 3D printer. I'm part of a couple really cool Patreons that I'd love to print and paint their stuff. I do commission miniature painting. I play a game called Conquest: The Last Argument of Kings. It's a game that I love. I love the models, and I know not a lot of you have had a chance to actually play the game, and I'd love to be able to show you the models. I'm not really ever going to be a battle report, guys. There are people who do that way better than me. But really, I want you to join me in this process, and if you learn something from it, that would be sweet. But minimally, I want you to look at your pile of plastic, and instead of seeing a death sentence, I want you to see future possibilities of fun things, because we're in this game for a couple different reasons. We love either building, painting, or playing. We should like celebrate that, and that's what I want this channel to be. It will also have weird little interludes of music stuff. I will still be doing it, and I don't really want to manage two different channels, so if you don't like that, sorry, just skip it. I do want you to know that if you like any of the music that's playing in here, it's all stuff that I have composed, and I will put download links in the description. So if you want to check out the tracks, you can do it there. Thank you for sticking with me this far. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Instagram, and do me a favor, post any of your miniature photos that you do. Let's make that hashtag murder basement something that we can all click on and follow each other's growth. Whenever you post something to Facebook, hashtag murder basement. Twitter, murder basement. Instagram, murder basement. I would love to be able to do this, keep this conversation going outside of the one-sided YouTube video that you are watching now. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name's Heath. This is my murder basement, and I hope you come and spend a lot more time with me. We're gonna have a great time. Be safe out there, and I hope you have a great time in your murder basement.